And Greg, how would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Greg. Okay, I would like to ask for approval of the minutes from our February 18th meeting. Moved by Lisa, seconded by Red. Any comments, changes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Rachel, any public comments?
None.
Signed up to speak?
Nope.
Kevin Loki, would you like to give us the update on local labor as well as labor exemptions for February?
Okay, so I'll start with the monthly report for February, covering our visits between the 1st and 28th of February. During this period, we made 64 monthly site visits. We had 4 follow-up visits during this period, and we shut the residency with 1,281 workers. 15 issues of non-compliance, 14 were no proof of residence, 1 was out of area, and there were no new COMIDA signs delivered during February.
Okay, any questions for Kevin?
Okay, so then I'll move on to the approved waivers for the month of February. There's only 1. So this was for Sibley Redevelopment 2 LP. The company was Standard Installation. That was submitted under no local labor available. So Standard Installation is based out of Marcy, New York, which is in Oneida County, and they'll be performing the acoustical spray installation work at the Sibley Redevelopment Project at 260 East Main Street. The International Cellulose Corporation, based out of Houston, Texas, has a product called K13 Thermal Insulation, which is a spray-applied thermal and acoustical insulation, typically used on exposed ceiling spray, requiring no additional barriers or materials. This company needs certified installers to perform this installation and provided their list of Western New York approved installers. None of these companies were located in the COMIDA defined local area or could supply local workers. The bidding on this project went out in July 2024, and Standard Installation was given the contract to perform the work. We worked with the local trades and the local builders exchange to see if there were any local companies available. As of January 2025, 1 local company here, Rochester Davis Fetch, just received that certification to perform the work. However, the timeline for them receiving the certification and the bidding process just simply did not align. But going forward, it's good to know that we have a local company that can perform this work, so we won't need to approve any waivers for this scope again.
That's great. Any questions on that? Got off easy, Kevin.
Okay, that's always good. Have a great day. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Greg, financial report?
Sure.
Please.
Financials through the first 2 months of our year, again, relatively quiet, which is becoming the normal as we generally ramp up through the end of the year. So our cash is down from year end about $3.8 million, mainly due to our purchase of additional treasuries, which you can see in our short-term investments. The grant funding cash balance there that you see is related to the New York FAST grant, and again, you'll see a corresponding liability for that as that's a pass-through for us. Overall, I think, again, our assets and liabilities are tracking towards our budget expectations. In terms of our revenue and expenses, again, generally the first quarter is relatively quiet. We did receive $26,000 of fee income in the month of February, tracking a little bit behind budget, but again, as we talked about last time, it generally ramps up in the last quarter every year. Our interest income is a result of our treasury balances. That's trending at about 4.5% to 5% on an annual basis currently. We'll look to, again, purchase additional treasuries as we deem to have any excess cash throughout the year based on our fee income relative to expenses. again, in terms of our expenses, program and community development, which really represents our workforce development program, again, that is behind budget. Again, we anticipate that catching up throughout the year. It's hard to predict on when all those expenses and programs are gonna hit. We predict on a more of an annual basis, and I think we'll end up catching that up as the year goes on. Overall, all the other expenses are a variance, but timing is hard to predict on those, and so I think overall we're in line with what we would anticipate our expectations for the first 2 months of the year.
Thanks. Any questions for Greg? All right, thanks very much. Let's move on to our first application today for the Raymond Corporation. Anna, would you like to walk us through that? Thank you, Ann.
The Raymond Corporation, a wholly owned subsidiary of Toyota Industries Corporation and part of Toyota Materials Handling North America, proposes the renovation of a portion of 10 Carriage Street in the village of Honeoye Falls. This facility will be upfit for the purposes of designing and testing fuel cells for lift trucks. The facility is strategically located near TMHNA's centralized North American Development Center for Energy Solutions in Henrietta. This $3.5 million project is projected to create 20 new FTEs over the next 3 years. The applicant is seeking approval of the sales tax exemption only, and the benefit to incentive ratio is 58-1.
Thank you. I believe we have Jared Bowling, Senior Procurement Manager with us today. Would you like to step up to the podium? Thank you. How would you like to add on
No,
that?
that covered it pretty well.
Really? Okay. No questions by the board? All right. Okay. We had a public hearing on March 21st on this project. Were there any comments at the public hearing? No.
None.
Are you aware of our local labor requirements?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
Not at this time.
And are you aware that the exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. The seeker process is complete. Now I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving the sales tax exemption. Is there a motion? Moved by Lisa, seconded by Ray. Any other questions? Okay. Norm is not here. Absent. Truman is here.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Lisa?
Yes.
Brett?
Yay.
And Ray?
Yay.
And Ann. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Look forward to bringing that facility in mind.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next project is BDC Rochester LLC. Anna? Thank you.
EDC Rochester LLC, a student housing development in the town of Henrietta, is proposing renovation of the 3 buildings located across their properties. The comprehensive renovation plan catering to RIT students will bring units in line with modern standards, update furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and provide major systems upgrades, including fire safety, HVAC, and energy systems. The $3.5 million project is expected to create 2 FTEs over the next 3 years. BDC Rochester LLC is seeking the approval of the sales tax exemption only, and the benefit to incentive ratio is 12-1.
Thank you. I believe we have Jack Essler, the Asset Manager and Vice President of Development, to respond, tell us more, and then respond to questions. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. A little bit more about the project. These buildings, 2 of them are quite old, from the 60s, late 60s. One of them is from the 2000s. The previous owners did minimal upkeep to the facility, so they are at a point now where they are a safety concern and not up to market standard as far as amenities. So we intend to fix all safety issues immediately, and bring the facilities up to student housing market standards so we can have some competitive rates in the market and create a safe environment and beautiful environment for the students of RIT to live.
So it's primarily student housing for the RIT students?
It is primarily, yes.
Is it quite near the campus?
A few minutes down the road. It is quite near. We have a number of other student housing facilities right around us, so we're right where student housing is located for the
Great.
school.
Any questions from the board on this? All right, there was a public hearing on March 21st. Rachel, any comments at that hearing?
None.
Thank you. And I'll ask you our local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
I am.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
Not at this time.
Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
I am.
Okay, the seeker process is complete. So now I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption.
So moved.
Thanks, Truman. Is there a second? Brad? Okay, any other comments, questions? All right, we'll take a vote. Norman is absent. Truman?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Brett?
Yay.
Ray?
Yay.
And Ann, you said yay as well, so congratulations. Good project,
Thank you all.
I'm sure. Thank you.
So you did.
The next project is Buckingham Properties LLC / Hopefully Design Group. Anna? It's a familiar name.
Buckingham Properties LLC proposes the renovation of 220 Alexander Street, a 117,350 square foot building, 117,350 square foot building located in the city of Rochester. Renovations of 35,000 square feet on the building's 6th and 7th floors will be completed for Popley Design Group, PDG. In addition to the build-out associated with PDG floors, the property will undergo improvements to mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and safety systems, as well as its facade. PDG plans to create 15 new FTEs in addition to its existing 100 FTEs. The $4.9 million project is seeking a real property tax abatement and approval of the sales tax exemption. The city of Rochester is supportive of a special 15-year pilot agreement, and the cost to benefit ratio is 10-1.
Okay, thanks, Anna. We have representatives from the company, Kyle Ingalls, who's the CFO, and Jay Popley, who's the Executive Vice President. Would you like to add on to all the information we have?
Sure, yeah. So my name's Kyle Ingalls. I'm the CFO of Buckingham Properties. Obviously a pretty exciting project in terms of the jobs that Jay and Popley Design Group are looking to move from the suburbs to the city to move their corporate headquarters. They've had some options down the thruway, but decided to remain in Monroe County and invest in the city of Rochester. So we're obviously very excited about that from a Rochester and a landlord perspective. The building that they're moving into has been mostly vacant since the departure of MVP in 2023. So this will help start to fill a void there, but excited to see what Popley Design Group can do for not only the building and Buckingham Properties, but also the city and the surrounding area in the Monroe Ave area. Not a lot in terms of major office tenants moving from the suburbs to the city, especially that we've seen at Buckingham. So excited to be part of the project. Jay, anything you want to add in terms of the move?
Yeah, right now we're in Penfield. We're in 3 separate locations. That is less than ideal from what we want. We're fully in office, so we're looking to bring all my colleagues together in one location. We did look at a number of spots. This particular facility checked off a lot of the boxes, and we'd like to be part of the city renaissance. And you know, we were talking to Buckingham, and in order to make this work, several things had to happen. One of the things is, we were willing to commit to a 15-year lease to be able to allow some of these upgrades to occur. It's good to
And
see
the
you all.
ownership, behind the project or behind the facility is, Lawrence Glazer Estate and other Glazer family members?
Yeah, so it's
Hard.
100% Larry Glazer state owned.
Yes, right.
Yep.
The facility, the whole building.
Correct, the whole office,
Buckingham
medical
Properties,
office
right.
building part.
So you're coming in and taking all this space as the tenant and paying for, making it livable, breathable.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
2 floors.
on 2 floors, yeah.
60%.
You know,
So the MVP building's still, quite a bit of vacancy, excuse me, but, Popley Design Group coming into the former MVP building brings the occupancy up to, about 40% there and is substantial improvement that really we're hoping can drive some momentum for future tenants and future potential moves from outside the city, to fill up additional space, so this will be a good start to that.
there's parking already there and.
Yep, so we have parking garage located on the facility,
That was one of the boxes.
Check that one off.
You know, it was a single tenant building, so they're, you know, just getting access to the second floor, or up to the 6th and 7th floor. There's some changes to the second floor that need to be made, so going from a single tenant to a multi-tenant building is not as simple as one would think. There's a number of things that have to occur.
And what's your timeline?
as soon as possible, I think as soon as we can get the approval for this, I think we had 9 to 12 months earmarked for construction, but going right away.
Knock on wood, we're hoping to be in before the end of the year.
Great, great. Any questions from the board? So there was a public hearing on this project on March 24th. Were there any comments? No? So I'll ask you our local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yeah.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
No.
And are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Seeker process is complete. I'll now ask for a motion for inducement of final resolution approving a real property tax abatement, mortgage recording tax exemption, and sales tax exemption.
So moved.
Moved by Lisa, seconded by Brett. Any comments, questions? Okay, I'll take a vote. Norm is absent. Truman?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Brett?
Yay.
Ray?
Yay.
And Ann is a yay. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Alright. The next project is 10 Central Apartments LLC. Anna?
Thank you, Ann. The proposed 10 Central Senior Apartment Complex will consist of 310 units situated on approximately 20 acres of land located at 354 Island Cottage Road in the town of Greece. This new development will consist of 2 buildings, 4 stories, with surface parking and a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. The total project cost will be approximately $70 million to $75 million. The owner intends to construct and fund this project in 2 phases. Phase 1 will consist of 163 one-bedroom, one-bath, 745 square foot units at a rental rate of $1,700 per month, including utilities, and 17 two-bedroom, two-bath, 970 square foot units at a rental rate of $2,049 per month, including utilities, for senior households and healthcare workers. Phase 2 will be a mix of 130 one-bedroom and two-bedroom units and will be regulated affordable housing units for those earning at or below 50% to 60% of area median income. The applicant is seeking approval of a real property tax abatement, sales tax exemption, and mortgage recording tax exemption for Phase 1 only, and is requesting a waiver of the affordable set-aside pending construction of Phase 2, which will be 100% affordable. The $35.9 million Phase 1 portion of the project is projected to create 1.5 FTEs and has a benefit to incentive ratio of 4 to 1. And I'll point out that this applicant delivered a presentation at the board's February meeting.
Thank you, Anna. We have George Kleeman on Zoom, who has joined us, and do we have others in the room? Mark Vaughn, Ken Bassel, in person. There we go.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please feel free to
Share a little more.
share a
I
little
think
more.
we chatted at the last meeting of the desired, and kind of outlined the project for you. Ken Vasile, who is one of my development partners, along with George Kleeman. We think we've got a great project there in the town of Greece. We think we're being able to deliver on the both market rate and affordable on a single campus. As we talked about, it is a kind of a general healthcare campus in the general sense of what else is in the neighborhood. It's got all the amenities nearby for the residents as well. We did talk about some of the additional costs associated with this site, being remediation of pesticides, distance off the road, so the additional infrastructure needed to gain access to the site because it is set back off the roadway. Secondary access available for fire and safety. So that's kind of the outline of it. We all know that the construction costs are not getting any cheaper, and you know, I think they've gone up even further since when we were here at the last meeting. You know, so happy to answer any questions that anybody has, and
How about from staff? Questions? It's a bit unusual in terms of timing.
This applicant has worked really well with staff in providing a comprehensive package of information about this project. Also worked with MRB Group recently to perform a financial analysis, a more sophisticated financial analysis of the project, which is in your board packet. MRB Group, will point out, is the firm with which COMIDA is engaged to perform a housing market assessment for all of Monroe County. But I'll just point out that this applicant has been exceedingly cooperative and forthcoming with information about the project.
Great. Okay. Any questions?
I have to give George all the credit for most of that. George was the CFO for many years with ABVI Goodwill. Has since retired and now is getting back into some additional development and property management. And I think that one of the things that we also mentioned at the last meeting, Providence Housing, which is a local known community group here, has like 25 or 26 communities around Monroe County or the greater Monroe County area. They will be our property manager. So we're going into this with the right team. Vasile Construction, I mentioned Kenny, you know, third generation, three generation construction company. They've done a lot of work in and around Monroe County in the area. So when you ask questions about the COMIDA and the labor, he's very familiar with that program.
And George Kleeman what is his role?
He's our CFO.
As a CFO,
Yep.
okay, great. And owners are on page 93. Okay, all three are owners. So, great, well, it's an impressive project. How about questions from the board?
No questions, just I guess a comment. And I think in the last time you were here and you presented the project, you mentioned that you are requesting a waiver of the set aside for the affordability in this component, but that's contingent on phase 2 being 100% affordable. And so, you know, I think that just is worthy of being mentioned, you know, as we consider, you know, approving this project, and you know, accommodations to you and your partners for producing additional affordable housing, which, as we all know, is not just a local issue, but it's a national issue. So I think that goes a long way in helping to resolve the housing issues that we have in this county. So good job. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, any other questions from the board? All right, there was a public hearing held on this project on March 21. Any comments?
No comments.
No. I'll ask you our local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
We are,
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
not at this time.
Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
We are.
The seeker process is complete. I'm going to ask for two motions here. The first one is the motion to waive the 20% affordable set-aside conditioned upon the construction of the 100% affordable second phase of the project. Is there a motion to that?
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Truman and Brett, second. Any other questions on that? Okay, guess I'm going to take two votes on this. So we'll start with this first motion and do a roll call. Truman?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Brett?
Yay.
Ray?
Yay.
And Ann is a yay, so motion carries on that. On the second motion, for inducement and final resolution approving a real property tax abatement, mortgage recording tax exemption, and sales tax exemptions. We have a motion. Thank you, Ray.
Second.
Seconded by Truman. Any other comments, questions? All those, well, we'll take a separate roll call. Norman is absent. Truman?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Brett?
Yay.
Ray?
Yay.
And Ann is a yay. So there you go.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Congratulations. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move into the Cascade District LLC. This is a housing project, therefore it's their first appearance before our board to give us an idea of the, what the project entails. And Anna, you want to elaborate on that?
Thank you. The proposed Cascade District project involves the renovation of an approximately 230,000 square foot industrial building in the city of Rochester into a mixed-use development. The building currently houses 32 loft-style apartments as well as some commercial tenants. The existing lofts will undergo extensive renovations, and an additional 58 one- and two-bedroom loft-style apartments will be constructed, bringing the total number of residential units to 90. Additional commercial tenants will be sought to transform the space and bring new life into the area. The applicant is seeking approval of a real property tax abatement, sales tax exemption, and mortgage recording tax exemption, and is committed to having 20% of the units set aside as affordable for those earning up to 80% of area median income, and no benefits are being approved at this time.
Okay, so we have a representative, Mike Spoletta, who can both add a little more color to the project.
We acquired the project in May. We've been doing extensive planning. A quick overview that the commercial tenants that are in there right now, majority of them are going to stay. About 15% of the project out of the 230,000 feet. The Loftus brothers that own the project did a very, very good job 25, 30 years ago. But the properties are dated at this point and needing substantial upgrades to rooftop units, electrical upgrade from RG&E that is about $1.5 million for the 4 buildings. The Knowlton building's on its own, and there's 3 buildings that are attached. We're looking at putting a cafe at 25 Washington, soup and salad, and we're looking for that right now. And we're actually there's 58 additional on top of the 32. It's actually 60 because we're knocking out 2, so 60 new ones. And then as the tenants move out, we're gonna do the 20% affordable and renovate the existing ones as tenants move out, then we'll go into the existing and upgrade those. There's about 200 car parking, there is some underground parking, about 20 car underground parking. And we believe in the city, we've been here 43 years on the same location. We did the Bridge Square building, which has been a big success. With the pastoral group there, we're 50-50 with them. So we're excited to get started. As some of the other ones have just said, construction costs have just skyrocketed and continue to move up. We originally planned on about a $10 or $11 million renovation. It's up to about $15 million. So the assistance does help. If there's anything else I can help with or answer questions?
Any questions from the board? All right, the next steps then will be for staff to schedule a public hearing on this project and perform due diligence, including preparing a cost-benefit analysis. Benefits will be considered at another meeting at a later date, so there's no action on this item at this time.
Thank you.
Continued success to you. Okay. Now we'll move into project modifications. The first one is Whitney Baird Associates.
Whitney Baird Associates LLC, a local real estate development company, was approved in 2010 to acquire and renovate the former Culver Road Armory in the city of Rochester. In August of 2013, Phase 2 was approved, and in March 2016, Phase 3 was approved by this board for a custom real property tax abatement, sales, and mortgage recording tax exemptions. Phase 3 of the project consists of a 15,000 square foot multi-tenant building, and it stalled due to economic conditions. The applicant previously requested an increase and an extension of the sales tax exemption in February of 2023 and is now requesting the same through December 31st of 2025 to complete the build out. The total project cost is now $5,079,762, and the new sales tax exemption benefit amount is $159,087.
Thank you. We have Fred Rinaldi with us today.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I appreciate the time today, and I am excited to be having this conversation as this represents a complete project, both in phase of construction and for tenant build-out. We are 100% leased across all three phases. And as much as I very much wish to have enjoyed the rates from 2016, we broke ground about 2 years ago, and in a very different environment, both in rates for lending and in construction costs. This building carries a lot of responsibility throughout the campus because we made a promise to truly balance the amount of retail and office. So we had a catalog of things going on that produce an unmatched quality of life. And when you see that gap of time, it represents our patience in making sure that we do just that, service our promise. And we're very excited to have welcome Howard Wrestling, Evolution Pilates, and Lumos, who has expanded twice within the campus. We love organic growth on the campus, it's very cool. And young, awesome business owners. And so through that span of time, we've experienced some costs. We shouldered about 99% of it, and this request for the small extension and expansion of the abatement services project to completion.
Nice update on that. Life goes on.
We are maintaining a 4,500 square foot, essentially it's a community space that's designed to provide awesome surface area to our tenants. And over the last 4 or 5 years, we've started to institute this program or philosophy of reciprocity. So if you're a tenant at Riverwood, you can book the Culture Lab at the Armory. to attend the Armory, you can book the common conference room, the basketball courts, the gym at Riverwood. So it gives you a sense of private ownership and just expansive surface area. So as businesses look to contract and make more efficient their space, awesome, we want that. But we also want to see you everywhere, because that energy is, transfers across every category of tenancy within the campus, and we feel very lucky today to have it full and to start embellishing. We feel like we just got started, so it's going to be a fun year.
The amenities, I think, would be a real plus for your tenants, and to, like you say, to work together and sort of bond.
And for us too, you're stuck with us for life. We manage the properties after we move the tenants in, so it gives us a lot of surface area to continue to do what we do well, which is to manage the facilities actively.
Great. Any questions from the board? All right. I'll ask for a motion to approve the project modification for the Whitney Baird Associates LLC Phase 3. A motion to approve, please, an increase in the project costs and extension of sales tax exemption through December 31, 2025. Moved by Lisa, seconded by Rhett. All right, any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
We're sticking with it.
See you soon.
Okay, the next project modification is Button Lofts LLC / Lux Lofts LLC DBA Lux Lofts Rutgers LLC.
We nailed it.
Pick up on that.
Thank you, Ann. This is an assignment assumption. Button Lofts was purchased in December of 2013 and converted from a furniture warehouse to loft apartments and townhomes in the city of Rochester. Button Lofts is requesting the agency's approval of the change in ownership of the facility and the assignment of the real property tax abatement to Lux Lofts LLC.
And I don't believe we do have a representative. We have two of them here, Tom Masachi and Scott Seidlin.
Hi, good afternoon. Scott Sedolnik. I'm the counsel for the company and for the borrower. And actually, Mr. Masachi, his flight was delayed, so he actually texted me this morning at 8 o'clock. He said my flight's not going to get in time. So James Preston is here with me as well. So James is actually part of our kind of revamped ownership group of the building.
Good, so any questions from the board?
So essentially what we're doing here is, kind of, we're moving the entity, moving the property into a new entity. Our existing mortgage is maturing soon, so we have a new bank in line in which we're refinancing with. There's a minor change in ownership, and Mr. Preston is now involved as an owner. The bank is requiring, obviously, that he guarantees it, so that's part of his consideration for moving forward. So the cleanest way to do this, instead of exchanging the membership interest of the prior entity, was to form a new one, deed it into the new one. The use of the property is not changing. I can tell you that we're at almost full capacity. I don't think there's really any vacancies. I do all the default work for the borrower too, so I can't remember any evictions I've had in the recent past. So the building is doing well, the company's doing well. We're just getting new financing because our existing loan is maturing.
Okay, thanks for the additional information. Any questions on that? Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve the change of ownership on the facility, and assignment of real property tax abatement to Lux Lofts LLC D/B/A Lux Lofts Rutgers LLC. Motion, please. Thanks, Rhett. Thanks, Ray. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move into executive session. So I need a motion to enter into executive session under section 105F to discuss the financial information of a particular corporation. Sarah, move. Moved by Lisa, seconded by Rhett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay. So, Angela is still going to be with us, but this is a motion for 1733 Ridge Road LLC to commence the process through eminent domain powers of acquiring certain real property interests located at the mall. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Moved by Lisa, seconded by Rhett. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So congratulations and thank you, Angelo, for all that you're doing to help rebuild the opportunities for the mall. I guess you have to stop calling it a mall at some point, right?
Thanks, Angelo.
Okay, thank you. I have a hard time hearing you guys, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're on a roll here.
Sure are.
So, let's see. We want to dive right into annual organizational matters. That sounds pretty nice, but that's exactly what we're going to do. So we had 3 committee meetings recently on March 18th. The Audit Committee, the Finance Committee, and the Governance Committee, and reviewing our policies, our procedures, our performance during our audit, and so it was a very worthwhile session to go over these items in the committee format, and then we're bringing those motions for any changes to the board for approval. So I'll start with the Audit Committee. We did meet on March 18th to review the Financial Audit Committee Charter and the Whistleblower Policy. Mango, Metzger, and Barr presented the draft 2024 audit. The audit was unmodified with no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses, and the committee readopted its charter and reviewed the whistleblower policy. The committee recommends that the full board accept the 2024 financial audit and readopt the whistleblower policy with no changes. And lastly, the committee reviewed its own evaluation. So we have John Reinkowitz with us, who has taken us for the great fun of the audit, the annual audit. And so I think you want to touch on some of the highlights of the audit.
Oh, yeah, thank you, yes. So we met with the audit committee and went through the financial report and just discussed some items, and as Ann mentioned, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, which is exactly where you want to be, so a clean audit report. The report is still in draft form. We're waiting for some bond information that's just going to impact one of the footnotes, doesn't change any of the numbers or the results there, so I do want to mention that. Just some of the highlights in the report. Balance sheet wise, really the big highlighter number that looks big compared to last year is the deposit from the Fast Shovel grant. So you received a big advance, $7 million. It's a $20 million grant, you receive $7 million. Those funds are being distributed as part of the pass-through grant. About $2 million has been distributed. You still have $5 million to distribute right now that you're holding on to. Fund balance overall increased $1 million up to $19 million. Some of the highlights there. Fee income overall from last year, which you had a very good year last year, 2 very large projects. So it's down a little bit, but you did have one large project, $3.7 million. So still a very good year, just not quite as big as the prior year. Also looking at the income statement, again, the shovel-ready grant is kind of the other big numbers that appear there. So you'll see a $2 million revenue and equal amount expense. As I mentioned, it's really a pass-through grant, so revenues recognized are equal to the expenses going out. Some increases in the community development expenses, so new projects you had there, so you see that in the expense side. And then overall, your increase is about $1 million. Ended up in good financial condition again this year, so you had another good year. Okay, and then we have a management letter where we discuss your internal controls. As I mentioned, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. And actually, this year we have no recommendations regarding your internal controls for improvements, so doing a very good job again.
And there were no carryover issues from the
No
last one.
carryover issues
So
from
that's a
last
good
year, so
position to
continue
be
to-
in.
Yep.
So,
So I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has on any of the reports we present.
I don't know, did all the board members get the audit, these committees, meetings?
They should have. Was the audit mailed or sent by messenger or electronically to
I
everyone?
was just trying to remember. I don't think
What I
so.
did? Oh,
Committee
sorry
had
about
it.
that.
Yeah, the committee had it, but I
The
don't think we
committee.
got it.
Committee got it.
Yeah.
Not the full board.
I can't remember.
We will remedy that. Thank you for pointing it out.
But in any case, it was very successful, and we appreciate your help, and we appreciate the efforts of our team that can produce a clean audit. So I'll ask for approval of the 2024 financial audit, the motion to accept the 2024 financial audit as presented, pending the final bond report. Is there a motion? Brett? Is there a second? Lisa? Okay. Any comments, questions on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks very much. Okay, now we'll move on to the second committee that met. This was the same day, I think. So we had the high probability advisors folks give us a presentation on as part of the finance committee report. And we met on March 18th to review the fee schedule, the finance committee charter, and investment and deposit policy, the employee handbook, and its self-evaluation. The committee has readopted the fee schedule, its charter, and recommends readoption of the investment and deposit policy. The committee also approved a change regarding retiree health insurance to the employee handbook and recommends that the board approve that change. Lastly, the committee reviewed its self-evaluation. Any questions on any of that? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve the employee handbook. Moved by Lisa, seconded by Rhett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The next committee meeting was the governance committee report. And we had a bunch of things, items that we had reviewed during that committee. We met on March 18th and all policies were reviewed and the committee is not recommending any changes. This is the committee. The committee also reviewed the bylaws, the mission statement and measurement report, and board evaluation summary. So pretty hefty items. So I'm going to ask for a motion to readopt all of our policies because this is what we do annually. We didn't make any changes to any of the policies, so I need a motion to readopt the policies with no changes.
So moved.
Thank you, Truman. Seconded by Rhett. Any other comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also, the bylaws were reviewed, and we need a motion to adopt the bylaws, to readopt the bylaws, again with no changes. So the same policies and documents, and they're all online. No changes to those, and we do have to approve them annually. Is there a motion? Moved by Truman, seconded by Lisa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd also like to ask for an approval of a mission statement and performance measurement report motion to readopt the mission statement and adopt the performance measurement report. Moved by Rhett, seconded by Lisa. Any questions on that?
Is this one where we added housing?
Yeah,
Yes.
here's,
Yes.
here, I have hard copies.
Yeah.
I had put the wrong one in the,
We
in
had
the
already
committee
adopted
packet.
that, but-
Yeah, it's already adopted, but I had
Right.
had the wrong one in the packet.
And then with the audit, just to go back to that, Robin did send it on March 14th.
It was some.
Everybody has the audit.
Okay. Robin did that?
Yeah,
Did.
she sure did.
Okay, so, let's see, where are we?
You have a motion.
Pardon?
You have a motion and a second on the mission statement.
On the mission statement, right.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Glad somebody's keeping track. These annual meetings are lots of fun.
For motion sick. And
So, let's see, we need another motion on a committee charter readoption. A motion to readopt the audit committee, finance committee, and governance committee charters. There were really no changes there in the charters. Moved by Rhett, seconded by Lisa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. There also was a board evaluation summary, so if you've got the package, you can see how we as board members voted in terms of whether they agreed with statements or somewhat agrees or disagreed.
Thank you.
If you want to take a look at that for a minute, the results of the survey. So, most of the board members responded to the questions and most of them were favorable. There's a few instances where they would like to have more information. And there's a question, I guess, about the board involvement in bringing on new board members. Anything else you want to comment on?
I am working on adding everyone's email address to the New York State Economic Development Council listserv so that the board receives ongoing communications periodically from the statewide entity that represents IDAs all over New York. I think that might address some of the concern about lack of information or understanding and professional development. So I just wanted to provide that update.
Thank you. Any questions on the results of the survey? All right, so we have reviewed that, and next report, Paris report update. I'm very sorry to report it's not quite done. Anna, Robin?
Yes, all credit to Robin and Allison and of course Rachel behind the scenes working hard on our submission. As you all know, this is a hefty undertaking every year and the due date is April 1. Our call to action from the authority's budget office is to make sure it's as comprehensive and as possible and accurate. So that's our focus more so than squeaking it in by the April 1 deadline, although we are aiming to get everything submitted by the April 1 deadline. We will report back on April 15th at our next meeting.
That's huge, because that's been sort of a challenge of ours, and we've got new software, new technology now, so that it won't be so crazy to spend so many hours and weekends on the Paris report.
Not April 1.
No, in April, it won't be done by April 1.
We're further ahead than last year.
I will say, we are way further ahead than we were at this time last year, and we have not had to do as many weekends this year. And credit is to Amy, our staff person Amy, who is really taking the lead on hounding our projects to get their reports in. She's doing a great job, and that's saved me and Allison so much time. And the new program that we created with the board's approval that's just like now getting up and running, that allows all the data to go in there, where before, not that this is like way too much detail, but before, like she would be at a computer entering it in the the state system, I'd be at a different computer entering the same information into our database system. And now everything's just going in the database, and then we're gonna export and import, upload into the state system.
Oh, that would be
So less
wonderful.
errors, and
Will it be the same next year, or will it be better?
it'll be even better
That's-
next year, because we're getting things set up this year for property tax rates,
Yeah.
which is gonna take even less time. So, yes.
Nice.
Well, that's good, we're moving in the right direction.
Yes, oh, yes.
I know it's been a real thorn. So, all right, well, Anna's going to review our 2024 performance now, and all the good news about the year.
Thank you, Ann, and it was a very productive year, as you heard when we reviewed our financial report and of course the audit. This is a look back at the year that was 2024, and I like to always keep in mind a lens on the future, so I'll talk a little bit about what we have on the horizon. And this is part of our annual meeting every year. The executive director delivers a year-end report, so this is formulaic, but also hopefully productive conversation. Please chime in if you have any questions about anything that I'm referencing during this presentation. So looking back on 2024, COMIDA approved 25 new economic development projects in Monroe County. Those 25 projects were, if we could advance to the next slide, they were valued at $340 million, over $340 million in capital investments on the part of the companies, and projected direct job creation of 704 full-time equivalent workers over 3 years, new jobs, as well as retention of over 1,200 existing Monroe County jobs. And I'll point out too that the 2024 results don't include the Fairlife project, which, as you all know, was and is the largest, in terms of capital investment, the largest project COMIDA has ever approved in its history. So great that we had a productive and successful 2024 year, even above and beyond Fairlife. If we could go to the next slide. This is another formulaic update, sharing with you all of the various projects that were approved by municipality, by taxing jurisdiction in the county. We had 11 in the city of Rochester, 5 in the town of Henrietta, 2 respectively in Greece and Perrington, and then 1 in each of Pittsford, Ogden, Honeywell Falls, Gates, and Shiloh. So pretty broad reaching across the county, east and west. Next slide. These are some pictures I just wanted to share from a visit that Robin and I paid on Friday with the county executive to the Fairlife construction site. He shared some of these on his official social media accounts. Of course, Fairlife, owned by Coca-Cola, very sensitive and secure about how they disseminate information. So these photos all had to be approved by Coca-Cola corporate. But you can see, these photos don't do it justice, but really how much progress has taken place at the site. Ray, I'm not sure if you've been there with some of your colleagues.
It's
astronomical.
Yeah,
It's so enormous.
Yeah, it's a large scale footprint, very highly technical. More work to come there, obviously, and then encouraged to see what they'll do here in the future as well, because I think they have a lot of.
Yes, that was discussed. They built room in the facility that's gone up so far. They built room for future expansions. And then I can't remember the dollar figure offhand, but there's a projection as to annual improvements, ongoing maintenance at the site that is all expected to go local.
Yeah, I believe it's $30 million per year for the next 30 years.
That's tremendous. So,
Nice investment.
right, it's hard to even wrap your head around it in terms of understanding the impact here. But would love to, of course, this board will all be invited when we cut the ribbon, hopefully by the first quarter or in the first quarter of 2026. So really exciting and just a great example of the impact that COMIDA has on competitive economic development, transformative economic development in our county, so you should all be very proud. If we could advance to the next slide. The Topgolf project is a centerpiece to the vision for the ongoing and kind of comprehensive redevelopment of the Citygate site, which is largely in the city of Rochester with pieces in Henrietta. Topgolf was a project that was approved by this board in 2024, a $39.8 million capital investment that was projected in the application. However, as we look ahead to hopefully break ground this spring, hopefully soon, I'm sure that those numbers will start to tick up, and 212 new job creation projected. This is, of course, a well-known entertainment brand, indoor golf, driving range. The corporate entity is in the process of splitting off from Callaway. So Callaway and Topgolf are splitting off, and then the Saudi Arabian Live Golf entity is, I think, in discussions to acquire the Topgolf brand, but all good things, I think, at the corporate level for them in terms of their future prospects, and we will keep the board apprised of developments there. And of course, that Topgolf project was part and parcel with a Del Monte hotel project, and then there are some other retail and restaurant developments underway around that area as well. If we could go to the next slide. We just had an audience with Angelo Gracia, local developer. Another ambitious project that Angelo is undertaking is the redevelopment of the Riverside Hotel, right down the street here across from the convention center. It's a key site in the city and county, crucial to the success of the convention center notably, and a centerpiece of the Rock the Riverway, river-focused center city redevelopment that's very heavily supported by the state. 120 Main Hotel LLC was the project name. Angelo and his team is taking on redevelopment, including affordable housing in the former hotel, and then also putting in 123 newly renovated hotel rooms, including an event space and a restaurant. So while this new entity will not be a 300-room hotel like it used to be, it's going to be an innovative mixed-use approach with a smaller hotel footprint and a residential piece. And as you all know, housing is sorely needed in the county. And also, of course, notably, the affordable set-aside requirement was not only met but exceeded by the housing units, with 20% of the units being set aside for individuals earning 60% of area median income. And this is a $61 million project projected to create 27 net new jobs due to the hotel operation and the restaurant. So that'll be exciting as that gets underway. On the next slide, this is a recap of Unither Manufacturing LLC, a notable pharmaceutical company in this area, in the life sciences space. This was a $14 million project with 50 net new jobs associated with it. It's an expansion in the town of Henrietta. This is the company's only US-based manufacturing site. This was a 2019 project with updates for phase 2 approved by COMIDA in 2024, including a 65,000 square foot expansion. This is for sterile manufacturing and an increase to their current capacity and additional production lines. And they're also building out a new lab. And the county executive has paid a visit to this construction site as well. On the next slide, we all are aware that Greater Rochester and Monroe County has a strong and robust food and beverage manufacturing sector. Waffleator was another, interesting project in 2024. This is a part of a corporate family tree, owned by a local business owner who has other food and beverage, another large-scale food and beverage operation, and interestingly enough, also had a large footprint in the Atlanta, Georgia metropolitan area. And in looking, sort of comparing and contrasting Atlanta with upstate New York, as they sought to make this investment, they chose to make this investment in Rochester, and they're scaling back on their operations in Atlanta because they find that the workforce in Monroe County and Greater Rochester is world-class, better meets their needs than even the perhaps more favorable tax climate down south. Waffleator makes frozen waffles and other frozen foods. It's a renovation of a former big box retail space, interestingly enough, in the town of Greece. I think it was a Sam's Club at one time. And so they're converting that big box space from dry storage to food manufacturing, nearly $2 million and 133 net new jobs. So another really great project. And then next up, Alklight LLC. This was a sales tax exemption, a smaller project, but a notable and interesting project nonetheless. This is a technology company specializing in advanced ultra-fast laser material fabrication in the city of Rochester, part of our optics, photonics, imaging, and laser ecosystem that is also very, very strong and globally competitive in Rochester. This company purchased a motorized 3D surface profiler, a piece of equipment that was necessary for manufacturing, helping them to grow. They took advantage of our new, relatively new, small business sales tax exemption program. As you all know, in the previous year, we greenlighted a smaller scale version of our sales tax exemption, such that small businesses with smaller projects of less than $500,000 could make the numbers work such that they could come before COMIDA to get sales tax exemption. So we were very glad to support this smaller project with that innovative new threshold to get to our sales tax exemption. Coming up, now I'm going to do a look back on our workforce development fund. In 2022, COMIDA worked with the county executive to establish a workforce development fund. We decided that we were going to set aside 10% of project fee revenues and dedicate them towards innovative workforce development, upskilling programs that were proven to be successful and industry-led. And I'm proud to say that after that relatively small initial investment of $2.5 million, looking back over the previous almost 3 years, we've invested over $8 million in worthy community workforce development initiatives. And I want to share a couple of highlights, some spotlight programs in that portfolio. The Ibero-American Action League Workforce and Entrepreneurial Connections Program supports entrepreneurs, supports job seekers in a bilingual capacity through the Ibero-American Action League. There are 7 total programs that are benefiting from COMIDA investment at Ibero, with 329 total participants so far, 280 completed training sessions, and at least 115 individuals who've gone through those various programs and secured full-time jobs. So very successful, and Ibero comes back annually to provide the board with an update. TRACS, I'm really excited about. This is an acronym, stands for Training Rochester Adults in Construction Skills, and it's a program that's been stood up by Unicon. And this is a pre-apprenticeship training program, rapidly exposing young adults and incumbent workers to soft and hard skills associated with the skilled trades apprenticeship programs, and then onboarding them into those apprenticeships in concert with the union halls, and then getting them to work. So it's really addressing soup to nuts the construction workforce needs in our community. And Robin and I learned on Friday when we were at Fairlife with the county executive that there were a handful of Trax apprentices there working at the site, which is really neat and, just an example.
That's terrific.
Right, something we should be proud of. In the advanced manufacturing sector, similar to Trax is YAMTEP, the Youth Adult or Young Adult Manufacturing Training Employment Program. 121 participants have gone through YAMTEP at no cost to themselves, thanks to COMIDA's support. Going through the forklift and basic skills program, 48 of those participants, at least 48 of those participants have full-time jobs in local manufacturing businesses. This was the first project or program that came to COMIDA seeking support through our Workforce Development Fund. And finally, Retain. This is another innovative program. MCIDC, our sister board, initially put some seed investment out there into Retain. It's modeled after MCIDC's Monroe Manufacturers Jobs Program, providing a cash incentive to individuals who've gone to college or university here in Monroe County, and then they opt to work here and build their careers here after graduation. We provide them with a grant of $2,000 upon 1 full year of living and working in Monroe County. COMIDA met MCIDC halfway in terms of investment in Retain this past year, and we are channeling those dollars into an entity called Campus Rock, which is administered by the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce. And Campus Rock is able to run the program and couple it with a number of other initiatives that they have within that ecosystem to work with the area workforce, expose primarily folks that have moved here recently from outside of the area, expose them to all of the wonderful things that Greater Rochester and Monroe County have to offer. So really a great pilot program, and then we're moving to continue that initiative into the new year in concert with MCIDC and the Chamber. 22 individuals went through Retain this past year across 20 different industries in the local area. And this, on slide 11, is this is another interesting and innovative new development, new relative to previous years. The idea of COMIDA applying for and being approved for various grants to support infrastructure revitalization and redevelopment in Greater Rochester. Interestingly enough, the Fast New York grant program was brought up as we discussed our audit. The Fast New York program was established by state leaders, by the state legislature, and then later on approved by the governor's office because of advocacy right here in Monroe County. Greater Rochester Enterprise gathered together a number of area developers to advocate at the state level for proactive investment in shovel-ready site development because we don't typically have pad sites in Monroe County, and it really takes many years worth of investments and advanced planning to get a greenfield site ready for prime time for a company like Fairlife to opt to make an investment and build a facility. So Fast New York was established a couple of years ago, finally, after many years of advocacy, and COMIDA was the first entity in the state of New York to be approved for a Fast New York grant. This was related to that Fairlife facility and project. $20 million in Fast New York funds were awarded to do the build out of RG&E utility infrastructure at the site in in Webster. This is $2 million in project costs so far that have been reimbursed to date. So we've got a long runway looking ahead over the next several months to get the rest of the build out done and the rest of those project costs reimbursed. And construction, as you know, is underway and expected to be complete by the end of this year. Pending Fast New York projects, we have 2 applications that were in front of the state. The West Monroe Logistics Park in the town of Ogden, an 84.5 acre industrial park. with a focus on high-tech manufacturing. We're working with the developer on that application. And Winfield Park in the town of Brighton, this is a Buckingham Properties development, a 133-acre site with plans for a combination of high-tech business, affordable housing and market rate housing and retail. And I'll jump ahead because Winfield Park, while it's in the town of Brighton, is adjacent to developments in the town of Henrietta that are going to benefit from another COMIDA undertaking. We are facilitating a $4.7 million grant from Empire State Development to upgrade RG&E owned utilities in the town of Henrietta to increase the power capacity and make it feasible for various housing developments to come online and for some existing planned economic development projects to get underway. That grant came from the state after some heavy advocacy from our county executive, the town of Henrietta, and the state delegation. So that's another one that's underway. And then the state approved a $3 million grant for upgrades to the rail infrastructure at Eastman Business Park. Eastman Kodak approached COMIDA a couple of years ago to get this application going, and we were successfully awarded the $3 million, and this is going to bear a lot of fruit for the existing tenants at Eastman Business Park. So you can see that we're doing a lot of good for regional economic development by funneling needed grant dollars into our area infrastructure, and this is above and beyond the benefits that COMIDA grants to projects typically. On the next slide, we can look ahead to 2025. We're continuing to focus on modernization. We would like to update our UTEP, our Uniform Tax Exemption Policy. We're very excited in 2025 to award a contract to develop a housing market study to MRB Group. So we're working with them on a comprehensive assessment of our housing incentives policy, and that once that study is complete, as well as the county's comprehensive plan, which is also expected to be completed in 2025, we'll have enough information in hand to pull this board together and pull together our taxing jurisdictions to update our UTEP. We'll continue to evaluate job creation requirements for projects seeking pilots, continue to evaluate and build upon our local labor policy. We're very excited to have Ray with us here on the board representing the local labor community. And in collaboration with the county executive's office, we'd like to create a strategic plan around site development and how can COMIDA continue to work proactively with developers and economic development organizations on shovel-ready site development. And another item on the horizon for the county is the finalization in June of a multimodal freight initiative that's going to lay out an action plan, some recommended, not necessarily low-hanging fruit, but actionable projects for the county to undertake that will further the freight and logistics, third-party logistics industry in Monroe County, and will relate to warehousing and industrial infrastructure, and perhaps have some investments, recommended investments for COMIDA. So with that, I will close my presentation and open it up to any questions.
We feel sorry for you. Thanks, that was a great,
Very good.
okay, are you going to be presenting that to like on Ledge or any other?
This presentation?
Yes, because it's a good annual report. I know very often we've said that our organization is well above a lot of other state ideas. And, I just think that that's a lot to brag about. But
that's a great suggestion, and Howard McClucci is not with us here today. He's our legislative liaison, and he's been advocating to have staff deliver some sort of a presentation along these lines to the caucuses across the street, just to give them a better sense of what is it that COMIDA does.
They do
right
over there.
So I will relay that information.
possible to like, aggregate, so the $340 million in company investments, I imagine like we track those via NAI, CS codes or something, or SIC codes.
That's right.
Could we like aggregate that to show which industries, you know, are making the highest level of investment in the region? I mean, that could be helpful for not only us, but it could be helpful for, you know, the Rochester Economic Development Council and a lot of other entities as well, just to see which industries are the healthiest in making investments, you know, et cetera.
We can certainly do that
Okay.
by NAICS code. Every year we report back to the legislature and to the county executive's office by way of the county budget. And we report COMIDA's metrics and MCIDC's metrics as part of the budget process, even though our budgets are wholly separate from the counties, but that's a really good suggestion.
To share the news of what we're doing.
Developers like to see that stuff too.
Yeah,
So, you know,
absolutely.
just so you know which.
Thank you all for your support and for, this is a volunteer board and dedicating your time and expertise to the work that COMIDA does, and thank you to staff as well.
Absolutely.
Great job.
Staff
Thanks for all the
to
weekends.
work with.
Yes, right.
I do it for the free lunch.
So, I guess we just need a motion to adjourn the meeting. And our next meeting is April 15th, 2025 at noon. Seconded by Lisa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.